How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and everything Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it feels so good that Marvel's Phase 4 has officially started. It kicked off last Friday with WandaVision, and now we have so much to look forward to with the future of the MCU in Phase 4. And today we have two major names that are reportedly coming in Phase 4 and possibly Phase 5. Marvel Studios hasn't exactly defined when Phase 4 is going to end, and when recently asked, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said that he could not define where it ends. But the X-Men Storm, who of course everybody knows, and Nova are both on the watch list of future characters that are going to be coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe sooner than we think. One could even possibly be coming as early on as Thor Love and Thunder. In fact, they both could be coming in Thor Love and Thunder along with another person, Matt Damon. There's a lot happening, so I'll break it all down in this video. So let's start off with Matt Damon because that one's pretty easy. In fact, he was already in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Thor Ragnarok. Now, I think most people caught Matt Damon in Thor Ragnarok, but if you missed him, he's in the part where Thor returns to Asgard and Odin is watching a play of when Loki supposedly died in Thor the Dark World. And if you didn't catch it, Matt Damon is actually the person that is playing Loki.
I'm sorry, I tried to rule Earth.
They'd be lucky to have you.
I'm sorry about that thing with the Tesseract. I just couldn't help myself.
I know.
I'm a trickster.
Yes, so mischievous.
So the fact that we have some reports stating that he's coming back and going to be in Thor Love and Thunder isn't all that surprising. Over the weekend, numerous Australian news outlets reported that Matt Damon arrived in Sydney, Australia via a private jet to begin his mandatory quarantine ahead of production. So Matt Damon is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now right now it's unsure of what role he's going to exactly play. The Asgardian that he played in Thor Ragnarok was an unnamed role. For the credits, it even says unnamed Asgardian actor. And this is actually a really good thing, because the fact that his character was so undefined in Thor Ragnarok means that he could kind of be anybody. He could be a very important Asgardian, someone who might go on to help Thor in Thor Love and Thunder, or they could simply erase the fact that Matt Damon ever played this character because technically he didn't since it was an unnamed role, but he did. However, they could just make him another new character with no ties to who he played before in Thor Ragnarok. Now, also keep in mind that Christian Bale is going to be playing Gorr the God Butcher, and this was confirmed by Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige during the Investor Day. And Matt Damon and Christian Bale are pretty good friends and have starred in things together in the past. One of the recent films that starred them two together was Ford vs. Ferrari. So the fact that they're now in another movie together isn't all that surprising. Now, will he go on to help Thor and some of the others defeat Gorr the God Butcher? We'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, it looks like Matt Damon will be returning and taking on either his old role or a new role in Thor Love and Thunder. Then we have a rather interesting report that says Storm is going to appear in Thor Love and Thunder. Specifically, that Storm is going to be a part of the Thor Corps. So this report is coming from Daniel Richmond, who says that Storm will have a cameo in Thor Love and Thunder. But also, we have had a report about this in the past as well. Some of you may recall the account Roger Wardell on Twitter. This is an account that before Avengers Endgame came out, he posted a ton of spoilers months in advance and was completely right about everything. I'm talking 100% accurate on everything that was going to happen in the movie. Well, since then he started a new account, an account that some people were kind of skeptical about whether or not it was really him. However, back in December, he tweeted, "In order to not arouse any suspicions and to blend into the community, Wanda and Vision will pretend to be stage magicians known as Glamour and Illusion." Now, this was tweeted in December, and as we found out last Friday, this ended up being true, which gives us reason to believe that this account is legitimate, considering how he leaked something that ended up being true months in advance. And like I said, this Twitter account has reported that Storm is going to be making an MCU appearance in Thor Love and Thunder. Back in March of 2020, he said a version of Thor Corps will make its way into the upcoming Thor 4. Notable members of the team include Beta Ray Bill, Dargo Couture, Thunderstrike, Simon Walterson / Throg, Groot, Gamora, Sif, Angela, and Storm. Now, the Thor Corps was a part of the Avengers Secret Wars Battle World storyline, a storyline that I truly believe Marvel Studios is setting up right now in the MCU and will eventually lead up to in about 7 to 10 years. But the Thor Corps was made up of multiple men and women across Battleworld and served as God Emperor Doom's police force. In order to become a member of the Thor Corps, one must be worthy to wield the power of Mjolnir during a ceremony held in one of the halls of Doomguard, the Thor Corps space of operation. Now, eventually, Jane Foster's Thor from a different universe would realize that God Emperor Doom was actually the villain, and she would get the Thor Corps to turn on Doom. And then ultimately, they would fight with the good guys. Now, of course, this actual storyline is not going to be a huge part of Thor Love and Thunder because Secret Wars and Battleworld are probably years away. But of course, they're going to start to be set up now. However, if we look at the Thor Corps, we do have several members already existing in the MCU. We know Jane Foster's Thor is going to be a major role in Thor Love and Thunder. Groot is technically with Thor right now since Thor left with the Guardians of the Galaxy after Avengers Endgame, and most of the Guardians are confirmed to have cameos in Thor Love and Thunder. And we actually saw an Easter egg for Beta Ray Bill in Thor Ragnarok, and we saw the homeworld Corbinite of Beta Ray Bill in Avengers Endgame, so he exists in the MCU somewhere. It also says that Lady Sif will be a part of the Thor Corps, and as far as we're concerned, she is alive. We didn't see her in Thor Ragnarok, which is good because most of the people that we did see ended up dying. But then it also says Gamora is going to be a part of the Thor Corps. Now remember, there is a Gamora now in our present timeline, although it isn't the one from our timeline. But perhaps Thor manages to track her down, or the Guardians of the Galaxy manage to track her down, and she wants to be a part of the Thor Corps. And then of course, he mentions Storm. Now how exactly Storm is going to come into play in Thor Love and Thunder, I'm not quite sure at this point. But I can say that in the comics, Storm does have a history with Asgard. At one point in time, Loki ends up giving Storm her own hammer, and it's called Stormcaster. And when she's given this hammer, she gains Thor-like powers, even though her and Thor's powers aren't exactly that different to begin with. And Storm would go on to occasionally use Stormcaster randomly throughout the comics. So if this report ends up being accurate and we do see Storm in Thor Love and Thunder, I'm definitely looking forward to her wielding Stormcaster. And then last but not least in reports for today, we have word that Nova could be appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at some point. And this is coming from Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios himself. 3 years ago, he told comicbook.com that Nova has immediate potential to appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, just recently, he met with comicbook.com again, where they asked him about this immediate potential for Nova, in which he replied, "Timing is relevant, right? I think I'd been talking about Doctor Strange 8 years before that movie came out. So immediate potential is relative, but clearly, we are not shying away from the cosmic end of storytelling, right in the sweet spot of the Nova Corps and Nova himself." So the president of Marvel Studios basically just confirmed that Nova is coming. He didn't say when, but he said that he's coming. And if we think about where would be a good point to introduce Nova, Thor Love and Thunder would actually work. The Guardians have a big tie to Xandar, where the Nova Corps is located. And in Avengers Infinity War, Thor was actually the one to tell the Guardians that Xandar was decimated. Perhaps Thor has had a run-in with Nova, or perhaps Thor is going to along with the Guardians of the Galaxy. New Asgard is on Earth. There's no more Asgard somewhere out there in space. And clearly the Guardians and Thor are going to go on some type of space adventure. Perhaps they stop by where Xandar used to be. And perhaps that's where they can find Nova. After all, Kevin Feige did just say they're exploring the cosmic side of the MCU, and that's kind of what Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy are supposed to be doing after Avengers Endgame. So right now, Thor Love and Thunder has so much potential, and it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of different new characters enter the MCU in this movie. So be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of the latest news and all of the latest characters who are supposedly entering the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let me know your thoughts about all of these new reports in the comments down below, and let me know how you think all of the members of the Thor Corps are going to come together in Thor Love and Thunder. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.